So here we have that picture of the vampire bat. So it really only uses these teeth in order to pierce, which is perfect for Halloween. But it still has molars because hundreds of thousands of years ago, they might have eaten a different substance. And these bats have evolved to be able to eat food that they pierce and then get the liquid blood out of. So they have no use for those molars. And it may be 100,000 or 1,000,000 years from now that the molars would eventually just go away completely. So where we have some organisms that have structures that they have in common, we also have certain types of organisms that have similar structures but obviously didn't come from a common ancestor. So if you look at an insect and a bat don't have any recent common ancestors, but they developed because this was something that helped them to survive in their environment. Like we talked about last time, where the wing nubs are going to make it so that they are able to get the heat away from their bodies and eventually serve for flight. In bats, what it may have been is that they may have had a webbing between their forelimbs, and then if you jump out of a tree, if you've got webbing, you can glide, and then eventually it got to the point where they were able to fly. So we call that convergent evolution, where we've got similar structures, but obviously not coming from a common ancestor. So another way that we study evolution is through molecular biology, looking at the sequences of DNA and understanding that we have common genetic sequences that link all forms of life. So everything that's out there, every living organism has those A's and T's and G's and C's, and we don't know of anything that's alive that isn't linked to those A's and T's and G's and C's. So the genetic code provides our fourth line of evidence for evolution. And so we can actually figure out how related we are to other organisms. Like we know that we are very similar in DNA similarity to the chimpanzees and to other primates. And the more distantly you and another individual are related, the more different types of DNA that you're going to have. So we would have similar DNA to the primates, and then it would still be pretty similar between mammals. As you keep moving back in time, we're going to be further and further away from the birds or from the fishes or from the amphibians until we have really, really distant common ancestors. We can study the way that that the DNA is similar. So DNA similarity between two species, we take and we compare their DNA sequences for individual genes. What is the genotype that gives us the phenotype? So for example, in a Rhesus monkey, we have 138 amino acids that are the same as those found in human hemoglobin. So our blood is very similar to the blood of a Rhesus monkey because we have 138 amino acids in common. And we could look at the amino acids of any species to figure out how closely related we are or they are to other types of members of their same species. So here we have some common ancestry. If you look at a human versus a Rhesus monkey versus a dog versus a bird versus a lamprey, you can see the amount of time that's elapsed since the common ancestor was last shared. So 23 million years ago is the last time we would have had a common ancestor between the Rhesus monkey. Or 46 million years ago between us being mammals. And so 46 million years ago would have been the last time we shared a common ancestor with a dog. But remember, we've got lots of humans, lots of hominids that have gone extinct. Same thing with dogs. We've had lots of dogs that have gone extinct. So in 46 million years, that's a lot of extinction that has occurred. And that's part of the reason we don't look or are not anything like a dog. So here, looking at the bird, we've got 112 million years, and between a lamprey, which is like a type of eel that has a jaw that latches onto fish and scrapes the skin off and then sucks the blood out of, so 564 million years ago. And the way that we know this because of comparative anatomy through embryology and through the fossil record, and then this would be the molecular clock. So looking at the amount of amino acids that we have in common. So the longer two species have been evolving on their own, and obviously we've been evolving on our own because we live in different environments. So they've been evolving on their own for that many millions of years. And so the more millions of years that you have in there, the more genetic differences that you're going to have that accumulate. So basically the take home of this is that all living organisms are going to share the same genetic code. So everybody's got A's and T's and G's and C's, but the degree of similarity in the DNA of different species can reveal how closely related they are, and also what amount of time has passed since they last shared a common ancestor. So I had a TA last semester that used to study weevils, and weevils are like they're like a beetle species. And she would compare the DNA of weevils found all around the world. And so she looked at something like 500 different varieties of weevils and how closely related they were. So the ones that are in North America, they're obviously going to be more closely related because they're in a similar location. And the ones that are in South America, the ones that are in Africa, they're going to be closely related to each other when they are found in similar places geographically. And they're going to be very different if they're crossing a wide, like, continental with an ocean in between. But we can look at those things and actually be able to study them using computer simulations. It's really amazing. It's amazing how different they are. So much so that some of the professors here in the biology department have built entire careers studying things like, I have one professor friend over there who studies pond water, and he studies just the pond water in northeastern Ohio and looks at the genetic similarities. And he's built, like, he's 70 years old, a 41-year career studying pond water. It's pretty amazing.